We're going to be talking through the NBA slate. We finally got a 4-gamer.
Let's go.
And it's going to be fun to make some decisions and go game by game here and see what we want to do. It's a very, it's going to be a tricky slate because part of the problem with De'Aaron Fox and the team saying they don't know if he can play and him saying I'm going to play makes me think he's going to play. How effective he's going to be, that's going to be something to question. But it's kind of a big decision point because you're going to get you have a low-owned Fox who's basically just smashed every single game so far. And they're playing at home, and it's a must-win. Well, it's a huge, not must-win. It's a huge game, the game 5. So that's going to be a big dictator of the slate. I think he's going to play. He's now probable officially, but it is a question of how much he can do. And do we talk about some other Sacramento guys later? So we'll start off with the first game with your Knicks, hoping to close out Cleveland. For what it's worth, I do like Cleveland tonight, but I don't feel like I'm kind of surprised actually that they ended up as a 5.5-point favorite. It seems a little higher than I would have thought, just the way the series is going, because they do look like they're really struggling right now.
Yeah, but they always juice up the teams that are must-win spots.
No, yeah, of course. But it's last time I think it was 3.5 though for some. Anyway, whatever. It just surprised me a little bit. So I don't know if I would probably stay away on this one, but I do like Cleveland to win the game for what it's worth. Mobley's price has come down. I think he's reasonable. I think Karis LeVert is a very difficult fade, just with the fact of the way they're using him. But we're going to see that dud game one of these days. So if he ends up like 75%, maybe you can get a little bit different. I like Darius Garland or Mitchell again. The same rule for me. I want to play one of those guys or LeVert. I think you can play just LeVert and not those guys in some lineups. But I do like both Garland and Mitchell. And I still think this could turn into a series. So I'm going to bet on those guys both doing well, but I won't play them together. I will play one of Garland or Mitchell. Probably going to be Garland at the moment for me because of the price, and LeVert is going to be a priority. I'm not in the mode to quite prioritize what's his name yet, Mobley, but he definitely is a reasonable play at his price. And on the Knicks side, boy, who would have thought we would see Julius Randle at 6,900 like ever? It just didn't seem possible. 6,900 has really not even paid off that price in this series yet, and actually didn't even play. They kept him off the court at times in this series, which is just really interesting. Sort of struggling with the Knicks side of it today. Always like Brunson. He's always low owned, and he's put up 50 the other day. He always gets there in some form or another. I think I like. I don't know. It's close between he and Garland for me. But I think that he's my favorite player, and I think that even with Randle, people the sticker shock affecting people, and people are going to play Randle tonight. Maybe I will not do that. Maybe I won't be one of those people, and I'm going to throw out that I think this could be a good Isaiah Hartenstein game from as a large field play. But we're going to need news on Quentin Grimes because it's going to change the projections a little bit if he's out. So we just don't know about that yet. What do you got here, Sheets?
Yeah, as far as values go, I mean, LeVert, Mobley, and Allen, I think all three of them are good plays. I'm not really getting to too much of the Knicks. I think overall, I think this game is going to be, I imagine the total is the lowest by a decent amount, right? So I don't know if I want to go too crazy with this one. But like you said, LeVert looks good at 5,200. All three of the guys I just mentioned look pretty good. Yeah, all these Knicks could be kind of good tournament plays just because I don't think anybody's going to play them. It's going to rates to be a low-scoring game. Cleveland needs to win. They're going to even tighten down the defenses more than they usually do, which is already a lot.
Yeah,
it's going to be a slow game. It's going to be a slow grind, and I think in a 4-game slate when you have all this freaking star power just throughout the slate, a lot of fantasy points are eligible to be scored here. Don't know how much exposure I'm going to get to this game, honestly. And what I'm saying is not new. I think this game in general is going to be the lowest owned of the games. And I'm kind of coming the same way. But if I had to take guys, it would be Mobley, LeVert, and Allen.
Yeah, I think that certainly makes the most sense. I'm trying to get a little different with my other guys because I do like that Mitchell and Garland, and just every one of them is smashed in every game. So I'm kind of just deciding between those two. All right, so I've gotten every game wrong but one in this series so far. So I'll take another shot at it again tonight. I like Memphis to beat the Lakers. I think I would even lay the 4 points. I do think they win this game back going home. I think it's going to be a wild arena. They even with them down 3-1, they really get behind that home crowd. And I think the Lakers. I think there's a danger of this game, like actually, like just seeing how tired and stuff LeBron looks so much of the time, and how AD literally ends up on the floor for half of every game. Maybe you see a blowout in this game, and maybe you can try and find an angle on that. That's just something that I've been trying to work out in my head. But as of right now, I love Ja. It's a tough to, we have some other really good spend ups. Ja is one that I really like. I think if this game does stay reasonably close, he's going to put up 60. I like Tillman a ton. The minutes are hard to argue with, and they're going to keep him on the court because he's guarding LeBron or AD basically all the time. And I didn't get to Jackson as much, and I'm a little concerned about the Dylan Brooks ownership being a little higher than I want to play him at, 4,600. But I have to at least have him as on the list right now because he is cheap enough to where you got to consider him. Of the Lakers, my favorite play is Austin Reeves. Actually, my favorite play, is Dennis Schroeder, and my second favorite play is Austin Reeves. But I do think Schroeder at that price. I'm just going to keep trying it and see what I can get out of it. And I think that, there's other routes for him to get there in this game, not to mention he played 30 minutes in the last game. If you tell me 30 minutes at 3,600 and people are, or whatever, 3,800 and he's really not getting played, am I missing something? I'm going to play Dennis Schroeder as a priority today.
Morant, Tillman, and so Morant and Tillman I definitely like. The Dylan Brooks thing concerns me for all the reasons it probably concerns you. I mean, listen, he did play 4 million minutes, but that's not guaranteed, I don't think.
I think it's guaranteed as long as he's not in foul trouble.
Well, and the other thing is that, this game could blow out, and if that's the case, and you want to win, maybe we go back to like Aldama or something like that, or, you know what I mean? Like he could probably play some minutes.
Yeah.
And if things fall the right way on a small slate he projects nowhere for me, right? So he's probably going to be nobody else going to play him.
But why would we be talking about Roddy and Aldama? And I think Roddy would be more the guy, but like when you've got a guy who you already know is going to play in Schroeder at 3,800, you know what I mean?
I'm just playing a blowout game.
Yeah, but Schroeder also will get that run too.
All right, well then, okay, I like that then too. Yeah, okay, so that's fine.
You can do both of them.
So Schroeder, yeah, exactly. Schroeder and Aldama, that pairing, that's better than the Piercy Percy pairing, I think, from golf. So so Tillman, Brooks, Jaren Jackson, I like all of them. I'm a little more concerned with Brooks than the others. I don't know if I would play. I guess it's okay to play Tillman and Jackson together. I prefer not to. I don't think, but
yeah, I think it's fine. But like you said, I think that definitely okay not to. I mean, if you're going to pick and you don't only have so many lineups, I think that probably dividing them up would be the right way to go if you're going to play both of them in different lineups. But I do think they're fine together.
And I don't have anybody from the Lakers except for, and now you're giving me Schroeder, so Schroeder will be the guy I have from the Lakers.
Well, I missed my Vanderbilt game last week too, and he put up 40. Actually, put up 30 the other night, and I kept saying that he was due for that big one, and he was like 1% owned or whatever, and went nuts. And they still didn't play him down the stretch. So it is interesting that we both have the potential blowout angle take. The only thing I would say is I wouldn't get too heavy invested in Memphis from a blowout angle because I don't think teams with their back against the wall are going to pull their guys off the court, even if they're up 25. We saw it with the Clippers last night, who, by the way, it almost cost them. I mean, with the Suns last night against the Clippers, it almost cost them, man.
What's the score in the series, the Memphis and Lakers?
3-1 Lakers.
Right.
And this is the game where Memphis could strut their stuff, but I think it's more the Lakers guys who would take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, you can be right.
And they're also, older and beaten up and all that.
You know what? I'm into this. I'm into the. I think I'm into the Schroeder thing.
Yeah.
Did he get minutes the other day? Yeah, 30.
Yeah.
Did he play overtime or no?
I believe he did. I'm not 100% on that. I have to double check.
I'm gonna look at that.
Maybe he did, but I wouldn't read too much into it because like every game is a different story with whether or not they're going to let Russell or Schroeder close. It's always going to be Reeves, LeBron, AD, and then there's some open for interpretation. Usually Rui has been there, but sometimes it'll be Vanderbilt if they're up by like 10 or something.
Dennis Schroeder played the overtime. Not only did he play the overtime,
they won.
He played the whole fourth quarter.
Ooh.
And the final 5 minutes of the third quarter. He played 19 straight minutes to close that game.
Yeah. I mean, and by the way, had they lost, maybe we would say that's,
D'Angelo Russell was not on the court during the last 2 minutes of the game or during overtime.
Yep.
And he also sat when Schroeder came in for him.
Yeah.
So that's good enough for me, sir.
Yeah. And by the way, I mentioned earlier, but I also do really like Austin Reeves here if you want to bet on the game staying close.
And for better or worse, and I'm going to pull this up just for fun. So this popcorn machine, you'll notice in this Lakers stuff over on the right, it has plus minus. The leader for plus minus in this game at 24 is Dennis Schroeder.
Let's go. So. Let's go.
You can only hope the coaches are really addicted to that statistic.
Yeah.
And we'll just play the crap out of them.
Yeah.
They'll be all smart. Like, ooh, Dennis Schroeder. Dennis, he's got a plus 24 plus minus. Let's make sure to play him 35 minutes. I'm in. Let's go.
I understand he's hard to project, but it does seem like 24 minutes feels like a low projection coming off of that, him playing every minute down the stretch, even though the overtime obviously only played 25 minutes without the overtime. But there's totally room for him to play a lot more, especially considering it worked. And D'Angelo Russell is not a good basketball player. If he gets off to a good start, all bets are off. D'Angelo Russell can get going. But if it's me, I'm playing Schroeder and Reeves as the guys who I would think will be on the court. Yeah, I'm excited to watch these games too, Phil. I'm into it. Let's see. We got over to the Milwaukee and Miami game. Why don't you start this one off, Sheets?
Yeah, well, you know me, I'm a sucker. I'm not playing Butler. So that's that. Giannis at 10-4. I mean, what are they down 3-1?
Yeah.
What's he going to play? 57 minutes?
I think this is pretty much a gimme.
I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but there you got to play him.
Yeah.
Everybody else in this game, I think, is just kind of. I mean, listen, Butler's a good play. I'm just not going to play him. That's the best I can describe it. Middleton 7,200, I suppose, but it's going to be the Giannis show. And listen, to Miami smart, they'll just freaking double team him, I guess. But we'll see what happens. But Giannis is something you probably want to play.
Yeah, and this is definitely. I mean, this is a 12-point spread, which is pretty amazing. And it does feel like the game.
Who's favored?
Yeah, right. It does feel like the game. And by the way, I watched that game with Jimmy Butler going nuts. That was not bad defense on Jimmy Butler. That was especially in the fourth quarter. Drew Holiday did a phenomenal job. You have a guy who's it's funny because if Westbrook pulls up from 25, everybody's like, what the hell is he doing? And all this stuff in that moment of the game. But when Jimmy Butler does it, who's a worse three-point shooter even than Westbrook, he's a 25% three-point shooter. Everybody, because it goes in, it's like, oh, you can't stop him. And Jimmy was spectacular the other night. I'm not doing it tonight. I think Jimmy Butler is a fade. I think Giannis is. I don't honestly know how I would not play him. I just think that he's going to get 40 at halftime. I think they're going to go everything through him. This is the must-win. They're going to keep him on the court even just for safety, even if they're up by 20. I just feel like you're going to get a really good game out of Giannis here, and I am going to be playing him. I think there are ways to get he and Ja in lineups together, but I prefer him over everybody as a spend up. Middleton, sure, fine. Holiday is not going to keep shooting the ball this poorly. I think that's kind of an interesting option for a low own, but I'm not going to realistically. I don't see myself doing it. And we get into the Kevin Love, Duncan Robinson of it all. I am okay with them. I don't feel as excited about them or as much like you needed them as I did the other day. For what it's worth, Gabe Vincent was pretty good. I liked him the other day, I remember, and he was, he put up 27 fantasy points. He's 4,300 again. One of these values for Miami probably gets there. they've raised the price on Caleb Martin, and I really like the way he plays. So he's going to close for them along with Lowry. So, and it seems like Struss is not going to most of the time here, but I just don't even know if they keep this game close. So I guess I'm sort of talking myself in circles, but I do think Duncan Robinson is sort of being under projected here. And it's kind of weird to me that he would be projected to play 26 minutes is pretty solid. He played 30 the last game. So Duncan Robinson is probably my favorite play for Miami, which sounds weird. Robinson, Kevin Love, or Gabe Vincent. That's where I would go. And Lowry's fine as well. Gabe Vincent. See, this is what happens. Lowry was whatever, 1,000,000% owned the other day, and Vincent was unowned. And now Vincent is projecting to be really high owned, and no one's going to play Lowry. They just keep reacting to what happens the game before, and it's just not. It's not attainable. I do like the idea of Vincent more in this game, just because Lowry, if they are getting he'll be off the court if they're down big, probably. But still, it just feels weird to see him like 30% and Lowry sub 10%. Anyway, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Love, one of those guys is probably going to be my value play for Miami, and I'm just up in the air with what to do with Vincent. Anything for what do you got there?
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Milwaukee, like I said, it's just it's either Giannis or pass if you want to know the truth. That's what I'm going to do this game.
Yeah.
What's the score in the Golden State series?
2-2.
Good game.
Yeah. I like Golden State here to win this game.
Okay.
I do think the Fox thing is an issue. I mean, look, when you break a finger on your shooting hand, it's not like fun. For me personally, I think this is like, it'd be really fun to get a ton of exposure here. I think I'm going to just keep selling myself on this. I still feel the Clay thing is coming. We're getting that 50 at some point. So I will say that Clay is a guy who I'm definitely considering today. I think he's going to be significantly lower. He always looks like he's going to be 20% owned and then ends up like 5% owned. Just all of the Warriors seem very fairly priced, but my favorites are Kevon Looney, Clay, and Draymond. Jordan Poole is too cheap, so he's going to be really popular, and you just have to decide whether you want to eat that chalk. But even Wiggins, all of these guys, I mean, look, they're going to treat this like a must-win game. The only other guy I would consider would be the Peyton or DiVincenzo, but I think that mostly it's going to be centered around trying to decide between one or two of Poole, Green, Thompson, and Looney as my priorities for the Golden State side. And then I just am totally up in the air with what I want to do with Sacramento. I'm trying to give the boost to like Malik Monk in my head. Does he get to take over a little bit more ball responsibilities? That's possible. Is it going to be, are we being suckered, and should we play De'Aaron Fox again? Crazy that Sabonis was so popular the other night, and we haven't seen him really go get there, but now you've got Fox kind of banged up, so maybe Sabonis takes up more of the offense. Have you watched this? I mean, this series is really weird. They treat Sabonis like he's like not even, like has never made a 10-footer in his life. They literally don't guard him until he's within 5 feet of the basket. They don't put anybody on him. So they're just sagging off him the whole time. At some point, he could have a game, and he's really low owned. So he's below the other guys for me, but it feels like with Fox banged up, we should have some interest in something from Sacramento. And I'm just really struggling with what that is. What do you got, Sheets?
Yeah, I think you just play Sabonis. I mean, for the reasons you just, part of the reason you just mentioned. I mean, if he's whether Fox plays or not, I presume he's going to play. Oh, he's now
probably, yeah. He said he's playing.
Broken index finger on his left hand, on his left hand. I mean,
yeah, that's not ideal,
dude. I think that what's 11% ownership I'm seeing on Sabonis. I'll sign me up. You want to know the truth? So I like that. I'm not going to play Fox at low ownership. Probably, it's just probably dumb, but I just can't bet a guy with a broken finger who shoots it so much. I just can't do it. And then I'll have Golden State. I'm kind of down with the choice between the Clay, the Poole, and the what did you say? The Wiggins is another one.
Yeah, it's like two. For me, it's like 2 out of 5 between
Draymond also, right?
Yeah, but I think Looney's actually my favorite of all of them. Looney is no joke. He's going to basically be out there every. I mean, he really matches up well with Sabonis. He's outscoring. Like, I mean, the last couple of games, he's right there with Sabonis in terms of production. Like, you know what I mean? He just gets a million rebounds, and I'm just tired of watching the same thing happen and not having it. He's really become a really good player, man. Like, I'm really, really happy for him.
I don't like. So we have Looney at center, and Sabonis at center, but I kind of want to play Tillman at center.
I'm going. My main builds are going to have Looney, Tillman for sure, just because it works out. But I totally, if you want to do the Sabonis thing, I do that. I do think though that Sabonis is going to be low. I think he might end up being even lower owned than you're seeing. Like, I think he might be like 5 or 6% owned.
Yeah, I think those are the three centers I probably want to. But then there's Jared Allen is a good. He's a good play.
Well, he's going to be low owned because of exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And he's a good play. There's plenty of, he can be on the court a ton and just do nothing in this series. That I'm a little lower on him than I am the other guys, I guess.
Who? Allen?
Yeah.
You like Bam at all?
No. Bam, I just keep, every time I keep playing him, I keep wondering to myself, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Like, he's
a good basketball player and he'll score 32 fantasy points. I mean, like,
which is not good enough.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it'll never get me there. Like, I'm just like, why do I keep feeling like I need to play? It doesn't need to be Bam or Jimmy. If you think the game stays close, you play Jimmy. If you don't think it stays close, you don't.
All right, so we'll also say, if you believe in any of this, so Anthony Davis, game 1, 60 fantasy points. Game 2, 38. Game 3, 65 fantasy points. Game 4, 40. This is a game 5. I don't know, but could get 60. It's possible.
Yeah. I'm going to agree totally. I'm looking at Mark in chat, and he's got some interesting things that I want to throw for it. I don't think LeBron is even in play tonight, and LeBron hasn't gone for the jugular. Like, he literally made the 2 last shots. People don't realize he does nothing offensively most of the game. He literally stands around and directs traffic. He can, and then he'll go through he plays in stretches, which is smart. He's how he does it. Like, you know what I mean? To some extent, he's saving himself. I really don't like the LeBron play tonight, and I totally disagree with the Draymond not starting makes Poole a good play at 5K. Poole's a much better play if he's not starting than if he's starting. It means nothing that he's starting or not. So that's where I'm at with that situation. But I've got my priorities as LeVert, one of Garland, Mitchell, and again, I'm going to have to figure this out. Tillman, Schroeder, Giannis, 2 of Clay, Poole, Wiggins, Looney, and Draymond. And then I'm probably going to prioritize Ja as well. So that's like 11 guys or 12 guys that I'm deciding for 8 spots. And I'm going to try to figure out the best way to build that that I can.
I'm not exactly sure. I just I'm not going to stack the Cleveland game. Maybe I'll take some of those values from Cleveland. And then I do like Tillman from the Memphis side. Like, I pretty much like a couple of those Memphis guys. I don't want to play too much of it because, again, I probably would want to, but that's not true. I wouldn't necessarily want to run back anything with the Lakers because they can get there as kind of a combination of people doing okay, But I will say that the Schroeder play is very intriguing to me. So I might, if the slate locked in 30 seconds, he'd be in my big buy. I would totally do it. I think it's a very, very sharp call by Mr. Firestone. Miami, Milwaukee. Listen, if Butler and Giannis once again have a freaking big showdown, that wouldn't surprise me either. You know what I mean? Like, we're saying that they're going to blow them out, but maybe it's not so easy. All right, let me take that.
All right, good luck to everybody. We'll see you guys later on.